what's up?
It's another episode of Everything Always Works Out podcast, ETAWO. I'm here with my co-host,
Yep.
DeeJay Zobe. This is going to be a
Yeah.
very special episode. Some people said, hey, man, I want to learn more about Zobe. So here we
Right.
go, Zobe. Let's talk about how you got into DJing, how you got into it, and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I know you just, we were talking and then you're asking me about how long I've been DJing. And I'm like, I remember I was like, how long altogether? And I did the math. 2002 was when I first actually got my first pair of equipment. Um,
What was your first pair
so
of
that went,
equipment? Like, what was your first,
uh,
turntables and stuff?
I got
And
these
mixer?
like Stanton turntables. I went down to like on Market Street in the city
Oh,
at this
okay.
place called World of Stereos,
Ooh.
and the dude is like a Arab Palestinian dude, and he's always like got some kind of deal, but you gotta it's like a limited time deal type thing. Like, I cut you a deal, like all of this for such and such, couple hundred out the door, and I'll throw in some records. And so I got like a Stanton mixer, Stanton the straight STR8 150
Okay.
direct drive,
Okay.
and I got like a basic like SA S5 Stanton mixers, very basic kind of mixer. Nothing too crazy, no bells and whistles, just very simple battle mixer, like DJ battle mixer. Um, and the time, like when I got into it, like my parents, they were like not too happy about it because I actually had to like sneak the equipment back home
Oh,
because I
really?
was using part of, yeah, I was using a part of my my financial aid money for college
Smart,
because by
smart.
then
Love to see it.
2002 I was like a freshman,
SF
yeah,
State.
freshman sophomore, yeah, SF State. And at that time they were still giving out like really good financial aid checks to people where you had a little bit of extra to, like, if you wanted a car, you could have gotten a car, like a
Damn.
cheap bucket. Or what I did was I decided to get turntables because back in high school, the homie my high school homies Renzo and Fred, they were DJs. They got into DJing and they were doing all the little, um what is it, little house parties, little campus, like, what do you call those, pep rallies and stuff like that. So I
Okay.
used to kick it with them, and like, after school, go over to their house back in high school and just hang out. um, watch old Invisible Scratch Pickle turntable TV and old DMC battle videos, and
So, so,
scratch
so would you
practice
say these are the
scratching.
two
So I
guys
didn't
that
have my
got?
turntables then.
Would you say these are the two
Uh-huh.
guys that got you into turntablism and being a DJ, or like what was the first
Pretty
like
much,
how
they
did you
were
get
kind of
exposed?
like,
It was them.
pretty much that's my like, they were like my feet in the door type. Like, I didn't see anybody else that, or there wasn't anybody else around that my area that had it, that I could like
No sci-fi
access
Ruben.
it. Sci-fi Ruben, no, he wasn't no, he wasn't DJing yet, or not to my knowledge at the time. But he also, I mean, I know recently he started getting back into it because he was DJing too later on.
Oh,
Like, by
okay.
the time I was in college and stuff, that time period, he started to DJ too, I think. I remember, um, what is it? It was 2004 was when I turned 21.
Holy shit.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
when I
okay.
turned 21 in
Woo.
2004. Oh God. And what is it? Me and I reconnected with him one time with Sci-Fi. It was like a friend's 21st birthday or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. Like, I already turned 21, and then there was another friend that just turned 21, and
Okay.
like, I was over there DJing, and then Sci-Fi was there too, and then he was like, he had all the like the house and trance, and that was what he was into. And so basically we had like we had a hip hop part of the night, and then we had like an all
Dude, that's tight.
rave and
It's like, you know,
house.
when you go to those raves or whatever, like there's different rooms for specific genres. That's fucking sick.
Right. But there wasn't a different room. We did it all in one room.
Ooh, how did that
Like
work?
we just took turns. Like he had his crate of records, I had my crate of records, and then but I brought my equipment.
Hmm.
So by that time I had like I just upgraded my setup, so it's no longer that old statin that I was using
Hmm.
setup. I had techniques, proper techniques, 1200s, and then I had like my I think I just got my rain mixer, the one that I currently use right now. That thing's old now, but at that time it was still pretty new. The rain 56 mixer.
Hmm.
um yeah, so so me and him, and then our homie, the one that passed away, was also Phil, RIP Phil. He was there
Oh, he
too.
was the guy.
He was he was also a DJ too.
Oh wow.
He was there, so you had three DJs. Everybody's tag teaming it, doing the thing. Crazy story. I remember it's my homie Sen. That was his 21st that we were DJing for, and wait, no, there's this house off of Persia out in the Mission, that the homie Miles's house that we used to do like house parties at,
Hmm.
and like that one time Sen's birthday party, this 21st. There's these two Latin girls. They're like sitting on my speakers,
Ooh.
and I
Okay.
told them to get off the speakers. And I think they're kind of drunk or whatever.
Were they
They
hot?
kind of like they're they're pretty hot, pretty hot.
Okay.
They like grab my head and like smush it between their boobs
Oh, okay.
to like shut me up, because I was trying to tell them like, hey, get off my speakers.
So they just grab your face
Yeah, they
and
just
put them
like
in the titties. They're
molded
like
me.
they're like, yo, shut the fuck up. Take a whiff
Right.
and get back to
Yeah.
DJing. Holy shit.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy. It was like the most memorable like moment there. I was like, it was pretty crazy. And then what else? Then the other party we did for Phil, the one that passed away. Um, I got into an old. He's a homie, but like he's also kind of a bully.
Oh, okay.
This one cat, and he was trying to like make me smoke. I didn't want to smoke at the time.
Smoke
Smoke
weed?
some weed.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't want. I was just like, because I had hella equipment. I didn't want to be hella out of it.
Oh yeah. You don't want to like
And
somehow like fuck up or forget something or something gets
right,
damaged.
right.
Yeah.
So, and then basically he was threatening me. He was like, "Yo, like if you don't smoke this, I'm gonna flip you over and put you into the toilet, whatever thing,
Damn.
you know." And then I paused the whole room when I told him like, "Hey, man, we ain't in high school no more, all right? You can't be like, we grown adults now.
Oh,
You
you
talking
checked
like
his
you're still in
ass.
high school, huh?"
You checked his ass.
I
Oh damn.
Yeah, I actually, that. Remember when we were talking in the last episode about Dave and comebacks? I
Mhm.
had a comeback for him.
Oh damn. You didn't freeze up.
I didn't freeze up. I was like, dude. I was like, everybody was like, whoa, Bowie, Zobe.
I'm not just some quiet Asian guy, okay?
Yeah, and then he was hella like butthurt over it, and then yeah, I felt good doing that. I was like, yeah,
I'm
I
the
got
man.
one. I'm the man. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
But yeah, man, those house party days were pretty crazy. I remember there's so many times where like I came to set up for one of my homegirl, my college homegirl. I still keep in contact with her to this day. Like she used to do. I think she was trying to pledge for some sorority, and then they did some. They had like a little get together, and she had me come over and DJ, and they didn't have like a proper folding table. At least she had some janky like patio furniture type circular table,
Damn.
and I had to fit my. Luckily, like I'm able to squeeze it on there. And then at this time, I wasn't using Serato or laptop situation yet. I was still on my crates vinyl.
Damn, that's so
Um,
badass.
right. This is like right around like whenever In the Club and Little John, like that was like that era.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of, no, T Pain hasn't. He's about to pop off. But yeah, like so. Yeah, I played on so many like messed up furniture, not proper tables. Like it's just hella janky, but I made it work, and we had a good time. And it was crazy. There's other time, this other house party, man. Those house party days, crazy. Here's another crazy story.
Okay, here we go. Here we
Um,
go.
so the SF State, right by SF State, there's these like condominium apartment towers, and a lot of students rent them.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And this girl, a friend of a friend, they wanted to throw a party, like a holiday party or something like that. And so yeah, it was a holiday party. Yeah. So we came over as me and one of my old and Fred, like because he also went to yeah, we went to college together too. Yeah, so we did this party together, and there was this chick that he was kind of feeling, right? And for some reason, like things got a little turned out. Everybody's getting it on and shit. The
Mm-hmm.
party's lit. People are coming in. And I guess we had some noise complaints from the other neighbors who I guess they didn't go away for a winter break yet or something.
Oh, they're being
So
little
we
bitchy.
got,
You guys didn't
yeah,
invite them
cops
over?
came by. Cops
Dang.
came by and like basically shut the party down, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I had to turn everything off, like, and it was like the party was over by midnight.
Oh, whack.
Yeah, yeah. But here's the crazier part. This chick, right, that my homie was feeling, she, I guess she turned to she had a lot to drink already by then, and
Mm-hmm.
she basically threw up in her own. I mean, she lived there too, so it wasn't like she had to go, but she threw up all over, kind of close to my equipment. Luckily, not on it,
Oh,
but
okay. I'm really like,
right,
yo.
right. So he had to like we kind of was like kind of helping her, and then her friends like got her in bed, but like we managed to like help clean up the like move the stuff away
Mm-hmm.
from the vomit. But yeah, that was like ooh, yeah,
And
crazy
back then,
vomit story.
did you have like carrying cases for your turntables or no?
By that time, in the beginning, I didn't. I just had like boxes, and I just kind of like put them in a box and like carried them.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
then eventually, by the time I was doing those house parties, I had proper cases. Like I was able to get proper cases. Yeah, it was
Dang.
all like financial aid money.
Hey, shout out
Like I was
financial
able,
aid.
right. Yeah, I mean it was part of like I mean I made some little little side money, little
Mm-hmm.
here and there, not a whole lot, but um yeah, like it was some good times, like good. But then doing house parties and then doing clubs, like once I graduated, it
Mm-hmm.
was like another step above. Like now I'm like learning a little bit more about like reading people and stuff, and just taking some of the stuff I learned from like the house parties and then combining
Well,
like how to read the crowds,
let me
different
yeah,
crowds.
let me ask you
You
this.
know?
So like when you first got it, right? So like if we go back, you said you went to that Palestinian guy to get your equipment, right? Was that because
Hmm.
Fred and the other dude told you like, "Hey man, here's a spot to buy some equipment," or like what made you get that like itch to like start DJing, or making you think like, "Hey, I think I could do that," or "I want to be passionate in this, hobby."
Hmm. I think for me it was like my love for hip hop, because that's where I came from, like that style, that culture. You know what I mean? Like because before I got into DJing, I was like a tagger,
Okay.
graffiti. I never did like pieces. I never got into like the mural type stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
I was just a little tagger, right? But then once like I got a little act was an incident with a cop,
Oh
and he
damn.
pulled,
That's what
yeah,
got you.
it was crazy. It was like it was they pulled up. This cop was like he just pulled up out of nowhere and stopped me and my friend. and like yeah, just like scared the shit out of us, and just like and then I just decided like, nah, I can't be keep going down this path. I'm gonna get myself into some real trouble,
You
you
gonna
know.
get caught up.
So that's when like
Okay.
I started like, well, I was always into the music and stuff, but like that's when I really like the switch turned on, and I was like, you know, just interested in it. And then at the time I was like, you know, with the Invisible Scratch Pickles and Cubert, that stuff like that kind of like caught my ear,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, man, I kind of want to DJ. That'd be cool if I can. So I was like, always like, I. So back then there used to be like catalogs, right? Now you go on. I mean, there was internet too,
What
but
do you
then
mean catalog? Do
like
you mean like a magazine or something?
like
Like,
a
okay,
magazine, yeah.
okay,
So there's these companies like there's this one called Pro Sound and Lighting PSSL,
okay.
and they would put out like if you give them their address,
Mm-hmm.
they'll send you like monthly or seasonal like catalogs of like equipment. So I look at that stuff and just dream about like, ooh, I want that. I want the techniques. I want this mixer, this Vestex mixer. Um, yeah. So, but and then it didn't. Things didn't come into fruition. It didn't come all together until I went to college, and
Oh,
then I
okay.
got that like
And you start
financial aid
you
check.
start you started piecing everything together. Started doing house
Right, right.
parties. Okay, okay. So like, let me ask
Yeah.
you this. So when you did get your equipment and stuff, like,
Mhm.
what was the first thing you did? Like, did you have like Fred come over? Or did you go to Fred's house and he did anyone like, did you like shadow anyone? Like, did you have anyone kind of help you like jumpstart like how to do it, or did you just watch YouTube videos and you're like, all right, I'm gonna learn how to DJ? Like, how did it work out for you?
There wasn't any like YouTube back that far back.
Mm-hmm.
But there were like little like instructional VHS type stuff.
Oh, okay.
Not like Fred and them. Like I just like I saw what they doing, so I kind of like picked up a little bit from them.
Oh, okay.
But really, like a lot of stuff was self-taught, like just
Oh,
by
okay.
listening to mixes on the radio. Um, what else? I think yeah, Kubert. I think at like by the like 2000s, he started to put out some like he had like a DVD out, instructional DVD. So I watched that. There's like there was some educational material that started to come out from Berkeley School of Music. That came with like its own vinyl with the scratch sounds.
Oh, wow.
I got that, and like so when I started coming in, they're starting to build like an educational type stuff for DJing. But other than besides that, yeah, like I would say there were some websites, like little forums and things. Like there was one called asisphonics.net, and they used to have like all these different scratch like terminologies and tips and tricks and things like that. It was like early internet stuff.
Oh,
But
wow.
there'd be like forums, yeah. But a lot of the stuff I had to learn on my own, like just kind of like that's why like I said like the house parties I did, and later eventually the clubs and bars that I ended up doing, like though it was like kind of learning on the spot
So it's like
kind of thing.
trial and error. Like,
Trial
so
and
let me
error,
ask you
yeah.
this: like for house parties, did you ever like really bomb, or were there people that kind of like bail you out and like help you out, so you kind of knew what you were doing?
I
Like,
think early on, when I was DJing like with I remember I did some I didn't do any with Renzo. Oh wait, no, I did. Yeah, Renzo and Fred. Like I would do some parties with them. Like I would maybe I didn't do that long of a set. You know,
mm-hmm.
I kind of jump in and like throw a couple of records on here and there, like for maybe a cool 30 minutes or something like that. And then they would hop on, and then I kind of see what they're doing,
Oh, dope.
you
So you
know, and I
shadowed
kind of like
them.
pay
Okay.
attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the beginning, I wasn't, yeah, you know, there was this one time, this was like, uh, at some bar on the Embarcadero, and like Fred at this time, my homie Fred, he was linked up with this group called the Heat Seekers,
Okay.
and they were kind of like cool with like I think like Rick Lee, you know the DJ from the radio, that guy,
Yeah, he Rick Lee's part
Rick Lee
of
the Dragon.
what news thing was he part of? Is it? It's not 106. It's
SB Beyond SBC DJs
Yeah, yeah,
Styles
yeah,
Beyond
yeah, yeah, yeah.
compared,
I know
yeah.
who Rick
But
Lee
then they
is.
had like a
Yeah.
some side groups, and then yeah. So one time Fred asked me to come along and just tag on and tag team with him because he didn't. He was like, they want me to come out and DJ this thing, but I don't have all the new records, or I'm not really up for it. I'll do a little set, but then I want you to like, you know, start it up or something like that. So I did. I came in with my crates.
Okay.
At this time, no, like I said, no Serato yet, no laptop yet. That, laptops and that stuff started coming in like after like 2005. But yeah, so I did this set and stuff, and I was at this time I'm like I would say like I'm still green, I'm still learning, like
Mm-hmm.
I'm not I'm still like I'm not super experienced. I had a couple little house party events and things, but I wasn't like super what is it experienced yet. So I did my little set, and I could see these cats. They're like side-eyeing me. They're like, hella, being typical DJ judging and stuff. Like, oh, you know, you you messed up there, or like what's going on? Like, who's this guy?
Oh
And then
damn.
I could already feel the vibe when I got off, and then Fred was just kind of like, hey, thanks for, he's like, thanks for helping out. I didn't really want to open up like that, but hey, props for you coming through. Like, you're the homie. So I did it out of like to help my homie out,
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely like felt the negative vibes from the other guys,
So
you know.
like when that happened, did like how did you feel after
Mhm.
that? Like what was your reaction? Like did it fuel you to like learn and get better, or like what happened?
It did. It did get me, yeah, because I was like, man, I gotta like step my game up. So I started to like, I mean, me and practicing, like, I'll be honest, I don't practice a whole lot as I should.
Mm-hmm.
I did. I mean, I definitely have done my 10, was it 10,000 hours by
Mm-hmm.
now, but like on the daily, I don't know, like I think I developed everything on the spot, type of like in the heat of the moment. Like everything I learned about DJing was in the heat of, like, boom, like, hey, I got an event, I need you to do this, and then on that event I learned something. And then there's something I also use, like my creative kind of like ways to like, how am I gonna read the crowd? Oh, this song sounds good with this song, or like because I've seen other DJs do this, or like I've been to these different events, or heard these kind of mixes. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, like this would work for this kind of crowd, or like these two songs work for this kind of crowd. You know, as I started like doing private events, like I learned
Oh,
more
okay.
about that. So kind of like on the job learning, like I did a lot of that.
Dope, dope,
And
dope.
to this day, I wouldn't even say like I don't even like would say like I'm that good. I just like I've just done enough gigs to like know what is what, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Because then I've been only DJing in the Bay Area. Like there's different regions have different kind of songs that other regions like their hit songs, their local favorites. Like I don't know about. If I go to New York, I don't really know what those are. I might have some ideas because I listen to things like the Road Podcast, and those guys are like some New York and LA DJs and Vegas DJs. So they'll I learned some things there. So yeah, like it's a lot of like research
Mm-hmm.
and paying attention and reading the crowd, and keeping up with different things that's happening in terms of music.
Like
Yeah.
when you hear kind of off topic a little bit, but like when you
Hmm.
hear like other mixes, or like if you're on the like if you're listening to the radio, right, and you have those
Hmm.
radio DJs, right, and
Hmm.
it'll be like what 10 p.m. 9 p.m. or whatever, they'll have like their hot hour, right, and they'll have like someone like a
Hmm.
Rick Lee or whoever, or DJ Espinoza or whatever, right,
Hmm.
and you're hearing them, and you're hearing how like they mix songs, or how they're pairing up other songs, or how they transition to it. Like
Yeah.
after because I know you know how to read music and stuff. Like when you're listening, if you
Hmm.
ever do, like can you hear, or like can you kind of like in your mind like think or like theorize like, oh, that's what he did, or like that's how he transitioned into this song, or like do you take mental notes when you hear other people's music, or you just enjoy the music? Because you know how like after learning this craft, right, you see things that other people might not see. Like for example, like
Oh
if
yeah,
a video editor
definitely.
watches like a commercial, right, and he's like, oh, so
Right.
that's how they cut it, like this or that. Like, does that
Yeah,
happen for
no, it's
you?
kind of like I know what you mean. Like it's kind of yeah. I as a DJ listening to other DJs, it, it's we're looking at it differently. Kind of like how like a comedian or like a video editor for commercials. Like we're seeing things like I'm hearing like his transitions, his song selections, and then if it's at a live event, I'm seeing like how the crowd reacts.
Mm-hmm.
Um, or like and then I know some I was listening to somebody brought up like even the transitions are like or different songs that go into other songs like some DJs have their it's kind of like how comedians have certain jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Some DJs have like their
Certain song.
preferred transitions,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? So and then there's a whole thing of like, oh, if you are you biting off somebody if you're using the same transitions, like there's that thing, and like I just use them for inspiration. I don't necessarily like, you know, I won't claim a certain thing. Like I'll just do what I like. A lot of the stuff I do is kind of on the spot. Like,
For like ad libs and like,
mhm.
am I saying it right? Is it ad libs, or the thing where like, um, like when they have the mixer right and they press a button and it's like a sound bit. Is it an ad lib or what is it called? You know what I'm
You mean
saying?
like the tone play? You mean
No,
when they're pressing the buttons?
yeah, no, like, and they're like repeating like a sound bite. Like, like when DJ Zoe is like,
Oh, you mean the DJ tag?
yeah, like is it called tags? What's the correct
Yeah, the
term? I'm trying to
DJ
remember.
tag.
I don't know why I was saying ad lib, but you know what I'm saying. Like, you know how like people have their own specific stuff,
Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
DJ
Like I have my
Mustard, like.
mines. If you ever get a chance to hear a mix of mine, I
Mm-hmm,
have mines like DJ. So like I've made my own. I
mm-hmm,
crafted my own. Some people there's professional like voiceover people that they pay to make
mm-hmm.
them those things, or like they ask certain artists
Yeah,
and the artist does it. Like the radio guys, they all have like you know like
yeah. They got
like
a bunch. Like
Future or somebody like,
they're
yeah,
like,
you're
hey,
listening to so and so DJ.
It's Tinashe, and you're in the mix with DJ. No, 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 no.
I got one because of like a promo guy that I met way back in the day. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm in his email loop, but I got one with Meg the Stallion.
You have one with Meg The
Not
Stallion?
specifically for me, but like she says her part, and then
Mm-hmm.
you could stick in the DJ name.
Oh, sick, dude. I
Yeah,
hope she's okay. She got shot.
the foot. Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
fuck Tory Lanez. No, I'm just kidding. Nah, I'm joking. I'm joking. We don't even know if it was really that.
Allegedly,
Allegedly,
no one
allegedly,
knows.
allegedly,
No
fuck
one
Tory
knows.
Lanez. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. But no, like no, I feel you. Like yeah, like DJs, we listen to each other, and there's some like inside things that we look for specifically that the regular person wouldn't be looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I always say like DJs are kind of like chefs, comedians. Who else? I can't think of the other professions or other similar professions. Artists, even like painters, like there's a craft to it. It's an art to it. Like the music is like our ingredient, and then we're reading the crowd and um, like different sets are kind of like comedian jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Like because technically every DJ at this point in time, thanks to like Serato or Tractor or like the digital stuff, the computer type stuff, like we have access to all the same music unless we have like underground or like special promo stuff from specific artists that they personally give to us. Like
Mm-hmm.
most of us have the same kind of music access to it. But then like it's how the DJ puts it together. Like each DJ is gonna do it differently,
Oh,
you
okay.
know? Yeah, so um yeah, like every time I listen to like a comedian talk about their craft or a chef like Roy Choi or somebody like that talk about cooking, like I can see parallels to like DJs. Like, oh, that's how I kind of like see my, music and stuff. It's kind of like similar to that, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then let me ask you this: like, what would you say was like, what was your first big gig, or like your very first like breakthrough or test that you were like nervous for, and you were like, oh man, I gotta show up, I gotta perform. You know what I'm saying? Like, Do you have something like that?
I think I
Where you
have a couple of things like
like you
that.
landed the gig and you're like, sweet, I
Uh-huh.
got this, but then you're like, fuck,
Uh-huh.
this is huge. Like, there's gonna be a lot of people. There's gonna be a lot of eyes
Uh-huh.
on me, and it's just me DJing. Like, I'm assuming you got a story like that for sure, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I do
let's.
actually.
All
Or
right, let's hear it.
I think I got a couple of moments like that. I
Okay.
think for me, the first one that I can think of is like when I started DJing at the Cellar
Okay.
and really filling in for Phil, basically, who passed away,
Mm-hmm.
or me and Sci-Fi's homie. When at that time, I still had for some reason, I mean, the college parties, the house parties, those were around people. It was a less, what is it, less professional environment.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't really have that much of a stage fright. But then
Mm-hmm.
when I started moving to the bars and clubs, yeah, definitely
So
started having.
back then, did you have to
And
go on the mic as well, or no?
no, never, no mic work. The thing
Okay.
with like, yeah, like I didn't. That's another chamber, like talking about Wu Tang. Like that's another element that
Okay.
I
Okay.
had to learn later on. Um, but uh, yeah, and that's when like I kind of developed the drinking habit.
Oh shit! For
And
real
then
at the
that
cellar?
spiraled into like the craziness, and later on I had to quit.
Mm-hmm.
But then eventually after but the first like moment that really like hit me was like when I opened up for J. Rue the Damager.
Okay. Okay.
That was crazy
Can you let the people
because
know who
like
that is?
J. Rue the Damager, he's like a rapper MC from the '90s.
Okay.
You can look him up. He had a song with I think his biggest hit was this one song with DJ Premier, "Come Clean." There's like the
Okay.
Chinese torture sounds. It's water droplets that he sampled, that Premier sampled, but then everybody was trying to figure out what the sample is. So yeah, I got to open up for him because of my involvement with Zulu,
Oh
and
damn.
like one of the members, he just put me on. He's like, "Hey Zobe, I need you to DJ. I need a DJ to back me up because then he's like a beat guy, so he needed me to like play some beats underneath him and stuff like that." So I got to open up. I want to say it was like uh there's a couple of hundred at the well I was the we were the opening set, so it was like a we were like people are trickling in. So I looked
Who
up
was
and
the
like
headliner? Who was the headliner?
the headliner was J. Rue himself.
Okay.
Think I'm trying to think who else. I can't remember the other guys. Yeah, but that was a big one. I was kind of like, whoa. But then for me with crowds, like it's like once I play my first two songs
You kind of like
and
zone
I
out,
get them,
right?
I
I'm
kind of
saying.
get into the zone and it
Nice.
doesn't matter no more. Like the anxiety, the butterflies, it kind of goes away.
Okay.
If anything, for me, the anxiety comes from the preparation. Like, what am I gonna play? Or like, do I have all my stuff working properly? That's really the anxiety these days for me. The preparation, not necessarily the execution. Another moment that was kind of like that too was when I played at the Elbow Room.
Oh fuck! Really?
That's where we went. Remember when we saw Mangchi?
Yeah, I already know.
Yeah, yeah. So after that, I had my first show at my yeah, my first show at Elbow Room. It was to open up for what's that guy that we saw in the at the Hollywood Hills party?
Binary Star.
Um Binary Star, yeah, but this is the other half because they broke up. One Below,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Shit.
One Below, yeah. So I got to like I open up for that too, and then Mr. Lift, yeah, Mr. Lift was the other one. So those are the two shows I did, and man, like it's just like whoa, this is crazy because I used to listen to these guys,
Hmm.
or like I'm familiar with their stuff, and then I'm able to like but I wasn't. It was just like kind of like threw me off. But then, like I said, once I get those first couple of records in, I'm good. I'm in the zone. You know.
Fuck
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
so what was your like preparation like when you had to like finally do like a set? Like let's negate the house parties, like when you're at the cellar,
Hmm.
or like when you're at the event for what's his name again? The Damager? What is it? Sorry. What is it?
J. the Damager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, for me, those it's like with the cellar or bar club kind of thing. It's more like just having all the making sure I have all the new songs
mhm.
that I want to break, that I want to play, and then all the songs that I know the crowd's gonna like, have those things ready. Because then at this time, when I started, like how I said, like the first half of the my 18 years was unprofessional. Then the later half, the professional years, it's like I had to like what is it? Basically, I've started to transition to like using digital vinyl or Serato is my preferred equipment or software that I use. So I would have to make sure I have all the right stuff to like play right, that it plugs in right, that sounds going out properly. Usually that's like a concern
Mhm.
for me. So I would always try to get to the venue a little earlier to get it all set up, sound check. But then once it's like a place that I continually go to, like a residency, um, I wouldn't have that much of a fear. It would be it's just like boom. It's a little quicker once you're familiar with the environment
Yeah,
and you're
yeah.
like, okay, I know the regulars that come in. They have certain songs they like to hear. The boss, he likes to hear certain things, so I kind of like know how to balance juggle everybody.
Okay.
Um, yeah. Was it? And then I know earlier you're asking me about microphone work. That didn't come later until like once I got into the strip club. That because then for some reason I guess in the Bay Area at least, speaking from my observation and my experience, is like a lot of DJs, especially coming from the time period I came from, like that late '90s, 2000s. We're more like speak with your hands, like very little microphone work. But I noticed like once I started doing the strip club DJ and I got on the microphone, like yeah, that I want to say that probably is the most fearful I've ever felt ever.
Really?
Public speaking.
Mhm.
I'm sure a lot of people out there can relate to that. It's like that's like one of the number one fears for a lot of people. Um, the first time that I actually spoke on the microphone in a DJ setting was at Little Darlings. My homie Ooze, who
Mhm.
put me on to the strip club game, DJ game, he was running late, and then they needed the DJ at that point. And then they're like, Zobe, because they knew I was DJing. I was like shadowing Ooze. So the assistant manager at the time was like, hey, yo, can you
Can you hop
hop
on?
on?
Damn.
Right. So I hopped on, I plugged in, and I was just like, uh, just mad, like tongue twister, and like just like anxiety and stuff. And I held it down until like Ooze was able to get there, but I'll say like I was super awkward and just couldn't really like get through. Just saying, doing the simple, for a strip club, you got to announce the girl's name,
Mhm.
tell people to tip her, get her off the stage, promote lap dances in the back. I wasn't able to get through all of that, the basics.
Were they
You know,
mad at you or
go,
not? They weren't tripping.
not really, because at that time, the assistant manager at the time, was just like
We
he
just
needed
we
somebody
just
to
need
keep the
music.
thing going.
Yeah.
Right, just somebody do something stall, like get it going. Like I don't want any dead air.
Mhm.
So that was my first taste of that, and yeah, like it took me a while to get to where when you visited me a year or two ago,
A long
like
time
it
ago.
yeah, a long time ago, right? When you visited me, like it took a while for me to get to that point, you know. Um, but yeah, I'm still a work in progress. I would say microphone work is still a work in progress for me. I'm not fully mastered in it yet. Um,
Can we get an
yeah.
example? Just use a
An
made up.
example.
Just
Oh
use just
man,
just
I'm a
use it.
little
Just
rusty.
use a
It's been
made up name. Let's just say the name's Tanashi. Okay.
Tinashe.
Okay. Like let's
All
hear the
right,
intro. Like
intro.
do your whole little bit. Is that cool? I'm putting you on the
Do
spot
my
right
whole
now.
little bit. All right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you. Oh, you want me to run through? Run
Yeah.
through?
We'll use Tinashe as a name, and then we'll just use Meg Thee Stallion as the other name. Okay.
I'll say this. I'm a little rusty right now because it's been months since the clubs closed.
Okay.
But all right, I'm gonna give you my thing. Give me my thing. All right, let me visualize. Okay, Tinashe, she's in the locker room.
Okay.
All right. Tinashe, stand by, because I gotta let the girl know she's standing by. Tinashe, stand by.
Okay.
All right. All right. Give it up for Candy. She's now available for those private rooms in the back, lap dance action. You know, spend a little time with her. All right. Well, I'm not. I'm a little rusty. All right. Up next to the stage, we're gonna have Tinashe come into the stage. Give it up for Tinashe. Yes, that's right. Lovely Tinashe. Get them bills together. If you need some more ones, need some singles, head to the bar in the back. We got some in the front row, in the front door. And then Tinashe makes her way, does her thing. All right, first round, she's coming to the stage. All right, clap it up, folks, for the sexy Tinashe. Get them bills out, folks. And then Tinashe does her thing. First round right here for Tinashe right here. And Tinashe's doing her thing first round. All right. Let's get it. Let's keep it going, guys, with the bills. I need to see more bills, folks. Second round for Tinashe right here.
Okay.
And then she does her second round. Right. Damn, I am a little rusty.
It's cool. Keep going. This is fucking amazing. I love this shit.
All right. We're coming in for the third round for Tinashe right here, folks. That's right. Keep them bills coming. If you like what you're seeing, she is available for them private lap dances.
Okay.
And then I start thinking, going through my list. Who's the next girl? Candy. Okay. All right. Candy, stand by, Candy.
No, it's Meg Thee Stallion.
Are you just gonna go through all the famous artist names as a dancer girl?
I just want to hear you say it.
Meg Thee Stallion, stand by. And then Meg Thee Stallion, I got her on standby. She's in the back. She's bullshitting, probably rolling up a blunt or something. Yeah. So that's kind of like I'm just kind of doing the basics parts right there. But yeah, you always gotta hype up. Hey, bills, get them bills out, folks. I'm not seeing enough. Are y'all enjoying this? If not, this ain't the place for you to be. Something like that,
like how do you give people shit if they're sitting front row and they're not doing anything? You know what I'm saying? Like if you're right in front of the stage and you're not putting any ones or anything, like what do you say on the mic?
Then you just kind of be like, hey, what is it? What did I used to say? Yeah, front rows are for tippers and tippers only. If you ain't tipping, move to the back.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Something like that. Move to the back. And always pushing for the dances. Hey, if there's somebody you like to see, some young ladies catching your eye, we do have private rooms, private dances. Mm-hmm. Always pushing that stuff. Yeah, damn. You just made me realize, man, it's been a while. It's like the clubs close in March, and I'm like, damn. I better get back on. But then it's like a bicycle. Mm-hmm. I just gotta get the dust off a little bit, and I'll be back into the mode.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That was amazing, by the way. I'm so happy you did it, man.
It's rusty, dude. I could do a lot better. I'll tell you that. That was a little rusty.
I can't wait for us to make a clip of that, and we're gonna add some music to the background of you doing that for our Instagram. That'd be fucking amazing.
Oh man.
Dude, that was great.
You've experienced my work. You know how I can bring it.
Shout out to my boy Dylan. I know you're not listening. And we visited Zobe, what is it, 3 years ago?
I know y'all had fun.
We had fun visiting Zobe.
Yeah. I made sure to put you guys on.
You were way better when we saw you live on your mic work. I know you were a little. Back then I think you were still
rusty because you had to make me because I'm not in the strip club mode.
You're not at an element. I know.
Right. Because that's why I'm trying to visualize. Okay, Tinashe.
Tinashe, yeah, that'd be
Dude,
amazing.
the craziest. I don't know if this is still on topic, but like you
Okay.
just made me think with the names. Like the craziest name. This one time, this goth chick came in to audition.
Okay. Don't get in trouble
Right?
now. Don't get in trouble now. Allegedly. No, I'm just
No,
kidding.
she didn't get picked up, but it's just her. She wanted to be called Lucifer,
Oh, what the fuck? As her stage
and
name?
my
Holy
boss
shit.
was like, "Hell to no, hell to the f no." He's like, "No." There's been some crazy names. That's probably one of the craziest.
Like, can you imagine
Uh,
Lucifer stand by? Lucifer stand by.
yeah.
What the fuck?
She's gonna give you a punishment in the back room, take you to hell and back. And I play I play Marilyn Manson for her audition.
like, if you don't mind me asking, can you give like a little breakdown like how the audition works? If you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, no,
Is
like
that cool? Like, how does it
basically the
work? Like, a girl
girls,
shows up, and then
yeah,
they have a DJ play music, and what? They do pull work, stage
basically
work, or what?
it's there's well they gotta have their ID, social security,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then we give them 2 to 3 songs depending on how busy or what's the circumstance, but usually it's 3 songs. First one's bikini, second one's topless, and then the last round is fully nude, 3 rounds.
Okay.
And then in terms of music wise, prefer that I pick the music because I'm testing them to see if they fit in, so that I know that they can dance to things that my boss would like to hear. And then I'll give them a bow and I'll play one like ratchet whatever song
Mm-hmm.
for them, just to like kind of like give them something they're comfortable with, and then give them something that I know my boss will like, just to test them. Sometimes they'll ask for stuff. I try to like it's really a gamble. Like sometimes I'll entertain, I'll play that one song, but then the other ones I have to like play for the boss.
Mm-hmm.
And then in terms of names, some girls come in with all like Lucifer. They already come in with a name that they thought of, and then
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they don't. A lot of the times, a lot of these girls don't know what name they want, so
Oh,
we would
okay.
have to come up with something for them. Like, oh, you look like a how about Lucy or Trina or uh uh Michelle or something, like come up with a name for them. And then my boss usually likes like not too many syllables, in the name.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I remember there was only there was I'm trying to remember the name, but there was like one who had like a two-parter name, like
Oh wow. Like what, a Mary Ann or some shit like
yeah,
that.
something like that, like a Mary Ann, and she was the only one. But I think it's because she's been doing it for a long time. So she like in the '90s, those kind of names are real popular. Those like multi-syllabic names.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but now it's just like it's easier. It's just like one word name, Candy, something like that.
Like, let me ask you
Yeah.
this: when they're doing this, like, I'm not trying to put your job on the spot or whatever, but
Hmm.
like, like when that's happening, right, and you're there, like, do you get to give some input to your boss as well afterwards? Like, do you say like, hey man, I
Sometimes,
thought
sometimes they'll ask me.
they did really well doing this or that. Like, from your point of view, do you think it's just, are they hot and then they get the job, or can they actually perform and work with the DJ and stage work and quote unquote, like, trying to put on a show to get people to tip, you know what I'm saying? Because they're
Hmm.
performing too. It's not like, I mean, you could argue, some people could argue, oh, sometimes there's just girls who just show up, they don't do anything, and they're just hot, you know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
then there's actual
No, like
and then there's actual girls who who actually do pole work, who
mhm.
they get on their knees and they're crawling and shit, and they're actually doing stage work, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Compared to
Yeah.
people just being lazy, just be like, I'm hot, look at my tits, look at my butt, throw some ones, you know what
Y-
I'm saying?
Yeah. No, no, I feel yeah, like I mean, for the industry, it's based on looks. So you gotta look the look, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, gotta look the look. In terms of the audition stage, what I'm looking for is like in terms of working with me as a DJ, the music. Are you able? For me, my big thing is, are you able to dance to anything. If you can do that, you're gold in my books.
Oh, okay.
For me personally, in terms of yeah, my boss sometimes will ask me, "Hey, what you think?" Just to get a second opinion on some girls.
And like,
Usually,
okay.
he usually they are the boss. They're like kind of the final say. But I do have a say too. If the girl's kind of like funky, kind of like she's not the right fit. She doesn't have the stage presence.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes a girl is like, whoa, she's hot, but like she doesn't have any stage presence. Usually, if they don't have that stage presence, that also trickles over to how they are with customers. Like, can they talk to customers too?
Yeah,
That's
like
if
how do you
anything, that's the
test like
bigger
yeah,
thing.
like how do you test that? Like obviously, you can be hot,
Mhm,
right? But then
mhm,
how do you gauge like their people skills, or like if you like if you're a patron, right, and you're at a strip club,
mhm,
and then you see the girls kind of like maybe like not necessarily innocent, but like they don't you can kind of tell that they don't even know what they're doing. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
Like
Yeah, no,
like for
we've had
example,
situations like
you've seen
that.
people on stage before, and you can kind of
Hmm.
tell like they don't even know what they're really doing. You know what I'm saying? You're kind of like, huh, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying?
Right, right. No, we've had, and that usually it's like the really, really young girls, the ones that just they just came. Like what I mean is they just graduated. They're
Mm-hmm.
18, right? And they're like, ooh, they've been seeing all the Cardi B's and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, I think I want to be a stripper and make some quick money, but they don't know what it takes. Like they don't know the part about being a working with the customers and how to like, basically market themselves and that kind of thing, the business type end of things. We can't really like on the audition, we won't be able to test that right away. But then,
So do you give them like a
that's why
grace
like
period? Do you give them like a
there's like
tryout
a
or like?
probationary, yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, everybody's pretty much on a probationary period. Like once we say you're okay, you're in, but we're still kind of like looking, like maybe after like maybe give it like a month into it, or maybe the first couple of weeks, and we're seeing her, and she's just like not really like talking to people that much, or like, just not holding up her like in terms of her numbers and stuff like that. It's not really like hitting, then she's gotta go. Even
Mm-hmm.
if she's like the hot, like dude, there was some ones where I was like, damn, but like
But they were hot as
just
fuck, and you're like,
they're
damn,
hot as fuck, but they couldn't talk for shit.
damn, like kind of
They
like
didn't
a
have
ditz,
they ain't
kind of
got
like
that
dumb.
mouthpiece.
Yeah.
They ain't got that mouthpiece. They can't spit that game.
What's
They
that
can't
mouth
get
do?
the guy to do VIP rooms, because that's the bread and butter for clubs.
Yeah, I mean,
Is
we'll
a
talk about
pre-COVID.
we'll talk about this one story I want to talk about in the future, maybe a special episode. But I will say,
Hmm.
at a particular club that we've gone to before, you can
Hmm.
tell when someone's like a veteran, where like they know what
Hmm.
they want, and they're
Right.
they might like I don't know. Maybe you could maybe do a quick breakdown of the maybe type of different girls for anyone that's listening right now. Maybe you've never been to a strip club. I mean, I don't know with COVID now, but I
Hmm.
mean, like like maybe
Yeah,
give a
there's no
quick
clubs unless you're in one of those red states.
I mean, like, yeah. I mean, like, maybe give a quick breakdown of, like, maybe the type of girls you might interact with. Because, I mean, I feel
Hmm.
like you could do it, like, there's a breakdown of, like, the three, like, maybe, like, three kind of different kind of girls you might meet at a club and how to,
Hmm.
like, interact with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, that
Hmm.
one that we see at that one club we go to that's, like, really aggressive.
Oh yeah, yeah. You got
Yeah.
the aggressive girl that was like, "Hey, where's my tip?" Da, 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 da.
Mm-hmm.
That girl. Then you got the veteran that knows what she's doing. That's like really having a conversation with you, and just kind of like basically she's finessing you. I mean, she's giving you what you want, or as much as she's giving you what you can get from
Mm-hmm.
that, from the moment, and like she's able to like converse with you and communicate with that you and get you to agree. There's that girl, that's the pro.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then you got the newbie, the one that doesn't know anything, that just like fresh out of high school, whatever, 18-year-old, and she doesn't know nothing. She's trying to be your friend. it's like talking to it's just like talking to some college girl or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But then she's not like leading you to the point where you're like, okay, I want to go in the do a private room with you. She's just like chit chatting. She hasn't known how to like steer the conversation
Okay.
to like, hey, do you want to spend some time with me? She hasn't learned that yet, but eventually, it's crazy. For some, like they might start off like that, and that's why we give them like a good amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'd say, like girls would, you can know if they this is for them or not within the first or second month.
Okay.
If they don't really like pick it up within that time period, it's like, yo, this isn't really for you.
Like, would you say
From my
would you
observation,
say private dance is a necessity and it's something that they're gonna have to do regardless, or no?
um,
Like, would you say there's girls that just specialize on like, hey, Candy, come up next, right? And then they're just only on the stage, they do like crazy pole work, and people are like, wow, she's put on a great show, and then they just throw about a whole bunch of ones, but then she rarely does private dances, or are there girls that just they kind of walk around, they rarely go on stage, and they're like, I guess the hot piece of meat, and then the guys are like, oh damn, she's hot, and she's like, hey, let's get a private dance. Like, would you say like that's a case? And if so, like, what does the club prioritize? Like, like, I mean, maybe just for your club, what do they value? Like, do you want the girl that's puts on a good show, gets everyone throwing in collective ones, or do we need more private dances? The big money ticket.
at the end of the day, I mean, for and in different clubs, different kinds of clubs, like if you're in more a quote unquote urban club,
Mm-hmm.
well, like basically like more urban, more hip hop, rap kind of club, or their emphasis is more on like the tipping out, the throwing money because
Mm-hmm.
that looks good, and they don't really, from my understanding, they don't really push the VIPs, even though they do have that option for people who want to do that,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't push it that hard. They want everybody to have a good time and just throw money around, and that looks good, right?
Yeah.
And then there's other ones, more traditional, more quote unquote white owned clubs, um, that are like put their bread and butter is the VIP room. They
Mm-hmm.
don't really care too much about they don't care too much about the stage money because the stage money goes to the girls. The club
Okay.
doesn't see that money, so you can go in there and ball out, but that's the girls' money, not really like the club doesn't see that.
Mm-hmm.
The club sees what they see is when the girls do the VIP, then the club gets a cut of that.
Okay.
So, um, do the girl do? I mean, can a girl? Well, for my club fits that mode, that quote unquote white old club, whatever style, where it's more VIP heavy. So if a girl's like good on the stage and stuff, that's good advertising for her. But if she's not able to pull enough VIPs, it's bad.
Okay.
Whereas in the urban club, a black club, where it's more like she can make either way, she can make money either way. They don't really trip too much on it.
Okay.
Yeah, which is where I think, I mean, at this point in time, given with since the 2008 recession and how the trends have been kind of like hit the industry, the clubs that are surviving are more heading towards the urban route.
Where it's just like, hey, pay 30, 40 bucks to get in, and then
Right.
ball out, throw money on the girls.
Right, and then they don't really like push too much for VIPs.
Okay.
It's just like and it just looks like a rap music video show type
Yeah,
thing.
because I mean that's what maybe I don't know if it's a misconception, but that's what maybe is like
Mhm.
glamorized through music
Mhm.
videos, and is
Right,
just
and
money in the
people see that and
yeah, money
equate
in
that to like,
money in the air, booty
mhm,
shaking,
right,
girls
yeah,
going down up and down the pole.
right. And then the more quote unquote white clubs is more where you see the more like on the floor work and stuff like that, you know.
Okay.
Because really at the end of the day they're trying to get you to the VIP for that money. But I don't know, man. COVID's about to change things, man. it's gonna make people have to reassess all of that, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
And then
maybe.
plus like you have like OnlyFans and all this other stuff, and then private shows. I know there's girls right now that are doing private, you know,
Oh, for
like
real?
it's just like they're not. It's not for the public. It's like if you're in the know, you're in the
Okay.
know. You get invited. So it's probably like they have a clientele base of ballers, people that want to spend money,
Uh-huh.
and that's who they cater to. It's not open for the public.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Dope, dope, dope.
some underground shit.
If you know, you
Yeah,
know. Don't ask us.
if you know, you know. Yeah.
Let's segue to another thing. So, like, um, when you watch movies where they depict, strip clubs, like the reason I'm saying this is like, I was watching on GQ, and they
Mhm.
were having like professionals or people who are a profession or professional in their this profession. I can't even talk correctly right now. But like what, for example, they'll have like a bow hunter, you know, analyze um, like people using bows, like Robin Hood or some
Uh,
stupid shit. Basically, what I'm asking
right.
you is like when you watch movies, right, and you see how they depict strip clubs and stuff, and the
Hmm.
vibe or whatever. Like, do they get anything wrong from your point of view? Like, I don't know if you saw the movie Uncut Gems. That's one of the recent ones where I kind of saw
I
like a
haven't seen
kind
that
of like
one, but
strip club
yeah.
ish kind of
But I know
vibe,
what you
club vibe.
mean, like depictions of strip clubs. I would
Mm-hmm.
say,
Is it pretty
I think,
accurate? Is it wrong? Obviously you got the guys that are security. They're usually tall, big
hmm
dudes. Then you got the
yeah,
DJ. Then you got
hmm
the girls walking around. I mean, is it pretty
yeah.
spot on? Do you think there's a couple things that they miss that capture
I can
the
only
strip club
speak as a
vibe?
DJ,
Okay.
and the one movie I would recommend people to watch is Players Club.
Okay.
Players Club kind of hits it on the nail. Now, Players Club is a movie directed by Ice Cube,
Mm-hmm.
so it's more on that urban black, like Southern Atlanta style kind of club.
Okay.
But it hits on a lot of elements that are like very, very like strip clubby. Like a lot of people in the strip club industry watch that, especially on the black and urban side of things. Like, that's kind of the vibe. Like you got the I don't know if you've watched it, but you got that. Man, it's been a while since I watched it,
I
but
have not seen that
it,
movie. Might have to be.
okay,
We might have to do a thing where we tell each other to watch movies, watch it, and then recap that shit on the
okay, but
podcast.
yeah, I would say that's the movie that would hit on spot. Now, in terms of other things, like I've seen, like The Sopranos, they've had things like that. Like I think they get the ambiance down,
Okay.
right? The ambiance of like the girls around and the DJs and bouncers and managers, like they got that down pretty good. Um, Now in terms of like maybe some of the nitty gritty inside stuff, probably not. I haven't seen one, but um, going back, yeah, Players Club, that one nails it, I think. There's another one that gets pretty close. I saw it on the plane when I went to Vietnam.
Wait, recently or when?
Yeah, when I went,
You
yeah,
little
this
sicko.
before COVID, or like
Okay.
in the midst of COVID, like pre-COVID, but on the cusp of the genesis.
Mm-hmm.
I was on the plane. I was watching. I was I was sitting next to. Was that? No, I wasn't next to my. No, somebody was in the middle seat, but I was watching it.
So you were watching that next to someone, and then your sister's on the other seat.
No, she's not right next to me. She's like one seat over.
Oh, okay,
The
okay, okay.
movie was the one with J Lo and Constance Wu.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and Cardi B was in it. Fuck, what was it called?
Hustler or
Uh,
some shit. I can't remember.
Hustlers. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That I was watching that. That one. Um,
Inaccurate,
yeah,
right?
it's pretty. It got kind of close. It definitely hit on the. I mean, if you've watched it or heard any press about it, it's basically based on what happened in New York with the Scores strip clubs and like how they were hustling people. So it's based on that story. So it came from somewhere legit. yeah, that they did a pretty good job on that one. I wish they would like they had like a very small scene interaction with the DJ.
Oh, okay.
um, but yeah, I yeah, I would say that that got pretty close too. But I would say like I still go back to play. I think because I grew up in the '90s and that movie came out in the '90s,
Mm-hmm.
the Players Club. So I was kind of like more kind of like attachment to it, you would say. So I recommend it. So the two I would say you watch Players Club and Hustlers just to get like a little vibe. Um, yeah.
Okay, okay. Would you say
Hmm.
like the locker room talk? You know how like to depict like the locker room amongst the strippers. What do you think
Hmm.
about that? Like, is that pretty accurate? Like, I'm not trying to put you on the spot. You don't have to delve into it, but like, what's
I
your
mean, I
interaction
don't
being in the locker room when you are in there?
right.
You don't have to say any stories. I'm just saying
Oh
like
no, no,
when they
no.
show it on the films, like, you know, what do
Does
you
it
think?
look? Yeah, for the most part, it's pretty accurate. Like girls hanging out in the back. I mean, because that's if they're not doing dances or they're not on the floor, they're usually in the locker room. Although they shouldn't be. I mean, they should really be on the floor just interacting with customers because that's where the
Okay,
money's at.
okay.
The ones that hang out too much in the back don't really, you
They
know,
ain't securing the bag.
they ain't securing the bag. Yeah, they need to
Mm.
be out. They need to be out on the floor.
Okay, well, one last
Yeah.
thing. So, like, let's say it's a pretty poppin' night, right?
Hmm.
Everyone's in a good mood. The manager's in a good mood. DJ's in a good mood, and stuff.
Hmm.
In situations when it gets crazy, right? In the club, how do you
Hmm.
navigate that? And at another point, when does your like manager or boss or whoever like like when you go to a club, right? And then they'll say like there's deals or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, do they tell that to you beforehand? Do they just tap you on the shoulder, like, and you move your headphone cuff, and you're like, "Hey, Zobi, 2 for 1 deal right now for blah blah blah," or some
Hmm.
shit like that? And when it's going like crazy, crazy, like let's say someone's throwing a lot of money, like, do you have a moment, if you don't mind saying, like, do you have a moment for yourself where you're on the mic and you're like, you're getting hyped up too because someone's just dropping
Oh
bands.
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I know what you mean. Yeah. No, like in terms of when stuff gets crazy in the club, there's definitely I've seen a couple of incidents.
Hmm.
Ones where like yeah, like
I mean, if you can't
basically
give an example, do it. If not,
only
it's
what I
good.
can say is like you wanna separate in terms of if you're saying it's like a fight or something breaks out,
Hmm.
you want to separate the people basically, and that's not my I'm the DJ, so it's not really my job
Well,
per se. So
do you know the security
security's
guys?
got to
You
handle
know the
it.
security guards by name, right? So do you just like, hey, Mike, break it
Right.
up or
I
some shit like
turn
that,
down the
or
music.
hmm
Usually the cue for them is like, oh shit, music's down. Music's down means something's going on.
okay.
That's why like dead air is kind of like scare, kind of like a mixed signal because the door guys, security, they're gonna be like, yo, what's going on inside?
Hmm.
So usually if something is going on, boom, the music cuts down, and then that's kind of some. And then if necessary, I'll call the name like, hey, yo, Mike, need you inside. Mike to the floor, Mike to the floor,
Oh
or
wow.
call the manager to the floor, manager to the floor, something like that. And I would
Okay.
have to get on the microphone. Yeah, and then usually what they have to do is they need to separate whoever it is. Like they cannot be together. Separate. Take it outside. Separate them. Separate. Because if
Okay.
you keep them, yeah, it's just gonna escalate and get crazier. So you want to separate them. And then in terms of what's the other
Do
one?
you have like a good example, like when like like someone's throwing hella
Uh,
money, it's going crazy,
oh, when
like in those
oh,
situations,
do
like
I
what
get hype up on the microphone?
yeah,
Yeah,
do you get
well,
hyped up
what?
too? Like, what kind of song are you playing? You think? Do you have like an example? Like, yo, getting pumped up. The girls, performing good. Everyone's like, yeah,
I had a couple of moments where like I played like Kamaya,
Okay.
Windows,
Windows.
right?
Oh
The
man,
one,
dude, I love that song.
and
Shout
people
out.
were like jamming to it.
Yup.
They're like it's slapping, so they getting turned up, and everybody's singing the words, and it's just like it's a party in the club,
Yeah, gas
and
break
some
dip.
guys are like they got their bill and they're just tossing it on stage. I'm like, yeah, That's what's up. Let's get into it, folks. Out the window. Come on now with the bills. Make
Yeah,
it
dude.
rain.
Shout out Michael and shout out my boy Doyle and my boy Mitchell, man. That's our song right there.
Oh yeah? Okay.
That's the shit right
And then
there.
there's another time. This is more recent. I'll say this is like a little. This is like probably in sometime in January. I want to say. You remember or December when Drake had that one song with Future.
What, the Tootsie Slide?
Life is
Oh,
good.
oh, life is good.
So you know when the part where he starts to like it gets the Future. So in that middle, I'm like, yeah, life is good, right? You got these beautiful women in the building for you. Like you can't do nothing but get hyped up for this. And
Yeah,
I took advantage of that.
that's a really good transition song. But sorry for interrupting. Like that
Right.
pause where like it switches to future, great opportunity to transition.
Right. So I take advantage of that moment. I get on the mic, I say something up, and I'm like, oh, I remember this one time I was just so into it. The girls looked at me and like, damn, Zoe's hella hyped into this. I was like, yeah, life is good. And then I was just like, come on now, let's see the bills out. Life is good. And then
yeah.
everybody's just like, yeah. And then, yeah, man. But then my manager was being all butthurt because like the people that were in there, he didn't like.
For real.
I was like, come on, man. People are having fun. They're like, this is a party, yo. Like that's why I'm like, me and you have had that talk. I'm like, come on. My little struggle with management, trying to keep the party alive. And,
yeah, because like
Yeah.
you're the guy who's kind of sets the tone, the vibe in the
Right.
in the room,
And
right?
I need to be. I need to be out.
You
Yeah,
gotta,
so I have had
you gotta
those
be at
moments.
you gotta be at 100%, right? Because if you're walking past the club, right, you can kind of hear the music from outside, and you're
Yeah.
kind of like the first
The
person,
maestro,
Yeah,
the conductor.
the person that like is like the first impression for people. They're like, oh, this music's ass.
Right.
Let's go to the club next door, or some shit
Right,
like that.
right. Yeah.
Sick.
What's the other question? There's another one.
I honestly don't remember. I was just asking, like crazy times at the club, like you gauging,
Yeah.
like how to, navigate through things. Oh,
Yeah.
I remember. Like, do you have like a mini meeting before you guys open up, like, or like, okay, let's say it's a good night,
Wait,
right?
no, I remember. You were asking about
like
the
for deals
specials.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Special,
So before I go on to that part, I just want to throw out, like that life is good moment. When that song was popping and I was using, I want to say that those nights when I had that and I used that record and I had good. I would say those are some good sets, and I was just like, yeah, I'm feeling this. Like I'm like, it's a drug. Like sometimes with DJing, it's almost like a drug. The crowd reaction.
like you get a high.
like-
Obviously, if
I
you
get
don't
a
know,
high.
Zobe's been sober for a very long time, but like you get a high from
Right,
just
I've
doing
been
it.
sober for like 10 years, but that's my drug, dude. Like every time I get like a moment, I see the crowd, they're getting into the songs, people chanting and stuff. Like, oh man, it's like I took a shot of like some really good liquor or something. But anyways, going on to your question, with the specials, when I first started strip club DJing, I would ask it wasn't like a meeting beforehand, but definitely I'll go to the catch the manager like, hey, should I do a special right now? Is it cool? He's like, yeah, go ahead, announce the special next. But now as of lately, with as before the COVID, leading up to it, like I didn't really. There are moments where like I made the call because then I just see the room and I'm like, yeah, they're looking like they need to get a little lap dance action in them, So I'll cut the guy. Hey guys have been real good. Hey, I got a special treat for you guys. 2-for-1 specials right now, folks. 2-for-1 specials. Grab that girl that you like, that you've been seeing. Whoever your favorite entertainer, spend some time with her 2 for the price of 1 right now, folks.
Nice.
Yeah, that's you. You got me into the mold right there. Little taste right there. Little taste. But yeah, no, like lately, prior to the club closing, like I was able to make those calls myself too.
Okay.
Because I don't know if I told you, but maybe I did. But like towards the end, leading up to COVID, I started becoming like lightweight manager.
I know, I
Like
know, I know.
doing managerial tasks without the managerial bump in
Yeah.
pay, which I didn't really want anyways,
Oh,
because
yeah, I
like
can
this
feel you
is
on
not
that. I
good.
tell you that.
Huh?
I'm telling you, I can feel you on that. Doing manager stuff, but not getting the bump.
Right. Yeah, but like, dude, at one point I was in the booth, doing the door, doing the bar, checking dances in the back, all at once because my manager was out. Yeah, it was kind of crazy. Opening up the club, it
Hmm.
was crazy. And then my girls were like, "Damn, Zobi, you the man, huh? You running this shit now, huh?" I'm like, "Nah, dude. I'm just don't even say that. Don't even say that. I'm just helping out.
Hmm.
We all chipping in. We try to make this thing work. We trying to get this money, girl. That's all we do. I ain't trying to take no titles. I ain't trying to do nothing like that."
Hmm.
Yeah.
Nice, nice.
Oh man.
That was good.
Yeah.
Before we go, maybe what are some of your personal favorite tracks to play at the club?
My personal favorite tracks.
Yeah.
Um. Uh. Pop Smoke Dior
Okay.
was a good one. Life is Good from Drake.
Okay.
Um, Pilo. Damn, what was that one? I used to play a lot. There's a Pilo song that I was playing
Yeah, we got to do a
from
strip
the
club
last.
mix from Zobi for sure. For
Let
sure.
me go. Pilo. What's the one? The Pilo. Crap. Thought I had it here. It's from the
Um,
Shine album.
the Shine album. Oh
Uh,
shit.
Sneeze,
Sneeze.
Kehlani.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
And
those are three. So make the Stallion,
mhm.
City
When you're
Girls,
playing
that kind of
music,
stuff.
for I don't know, for people listening,
Mhm.
when you are playing, are you playing clean or dirty or a mixture of both? Like, what's the rule on that?
I I I mean, at the strip club, ideally I want to play dirty, but sometimes like my boss gets in a funky ass mood and he's like, "Oh, I don't want to hear any like cursing and n-word this and that." So then I have to play. I try to skate by and play some clean versions of things. But
Okay, okay.
preferably, I would like to play dirty versions because
Yeah,
I'm at a strip club. Dirty,
yeah.
get dirty. Yeah,
Nice, nice. Well, I think that's a good episode. I think we can end it on that note. I mean,
yeah,
thanks everyone for listening.
hmm
We're gonna keep at it. I'm
right.
really happy with what we've been doing so far. And if
hmm
you haven't already, we're on basically I think every platform now. It's just
right.
ETAWO podcast, Apple
hmm
Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, Libsyn.
iTunes, Apple,
Yep.
yeah,
Definitely check us out on
YouTube.
Instagram. Hit us with a follow.
hmm
Instagram.com/ETAWPODCAST. Also, shout out to Dylan, the native one,
hmm
for that
Yeah.
quick little sketch of me and Zobi. And
Right. Hey, keep sending in those fan art. Loving it. Loving the fan art.
anything else you
Loving the fan love.
yeah, and anything else you want to say before we close out the episode?
Oh, I think that's it. Everybody, just be safe and check in with each other and yeah, just hold on tight.
Yeah. Hold on tightly, let go lightly. I'm just kidding.
And like go lightly. Damn, stealing things from Cho again.
Nah, I'm just kidding.
Nah.
Hey, but
Everything always works
yeah,
out.
everything
There
always
you
works
go.
out. We're going through some crazy times, but we're
Right.
all gonna get through this collectively, man. So
Right.
check in on your peoples.
Yep.
Shit's crazy
hmm
right now. But thank you for tuning in, guys.
hmm
Eventually we will have a set schedule when we
hmm
upload episodes regularly. But right now,
Yep.
we're chipping away at it. We're gonna keep trying to pump out episodes. Me and Zobi can
Yep.
talk for a long time.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, peace, y'all.
All right. Peace.